This is Lynn Corwatch. She became the first female captain of an American cargo ship under remarkable circumstances.
And during those first years, I had the opportunity to sail initially as a maid on an oil tanker, and was in Southern California when a tanker blew up, and said, oh man, maybe this is really not the gig that I want.
So she joined the Master Mates and Pilots Union and began sailing on all kinds of ships around the world.
I quickly kind of decided that, going to places like the Far East and South America was a little bit more of a challenge. In the 1970s and early 80s, they had never seen women on ships.
Every time she entered a port, she had to explain to skeptical dock workers that she wasn't the captain's wife and that the men had to listen to her. It was tough work. So she decided to try to work her way up at the American shipping line Matson, which ran and still runs ships from Oakland to Hawaii and back.
I had the opportunity over the years to advance to the chief mate's position at Matson. They were very good to me. And when an opportunity came up to be promoted on a temporary basis to captain, one didn't turn it down.
Yeah, of course not. Why would you?
You never knew when that opportunity was going to come along again.
Only one hitch.
So despite the fact that I was pregnant,
and there's no doctor on board a container ship, an OB or a midwife or a doula,
I said, oh gosh, I think I got to do this. And as you can appreciate, being pregnant is not a handicap or something that should limit your opportunities. It's just something that happens, and you got to carry on with life. So that's what happened. I was 8 months pregnant, probably more than 8 months pregnant, and said, yes, let's go.
What was your plan if you got into labor?
It was kind of funny because my chief mate at the time had recently delivered his own baby in his car. So he was delighted with the idea that, oh man, I get to do this, and won't that be really fun? Needless to say, it didn't turn into a reality, but what did kind of complicate the situation was after I got off the ship, about 5 days later, I did go into labor and found out that, unbeknownst to me, that my son was breech.
That means feet first, which makes for substantially more dangerous labor.
So should I have gone into labor on the ship, it would have been a much bigger challenge than I think any of us ever anticipated.
That's who Lynn Corwatch is. A down-to-earth, groundbreaking woman in the field of shipping and a longtime part of the Bay's maritime economy. She's respected by all for her toughness and intelligence. Her track record made her a natural fit to become the head of the San Francisco Marine Exchange, which may be the oldest institution in all of California.
So the Marine Exchange is an organization that was founded back in 1849 to really kind of track and monitor ships as they arrived in San Francisco Bay. We put the telegraph up on Telegraph Hill in order to communicate that information down to our maritime partners. We had several relay stations around the bay, and primarily, we were moving that information around. There was a trading floor so that when we passed this information down to our membership, they were trading commodities right then and there on the floor. They knew that the ship had been coming from South America or from the East Coast or from China, because that would be passed through semaphore or through flags.
It's not a stretch to say that San Francisco and all the surrounding towns exist basically because the Bay had a good port. San Francisco became a part of the global archipelago of important cities.
The waterfront area along the Embarcadero was where those breakbulk ships came, and that's really, where I think the economy of San Francisco grew and grew and grew.
Nowadays, the Marine Exchange knits together the many different pieces of the current maritime economy. They're the honest broker that everyone works with to address stuff like safety, trade, stuff like that.
Our mission really hasn't changed. We do exactly the same thing. We don't control ships. We don't direct ships. We monitor the ships because we do have management, part of our organization, as well as labor. We have become somewhat of a neutral provider for services.
And one of those services is that they publish a book. A book that kind of inspired this entire series that you're listening to. It lists all the businesses that ply the waters. Anchor chains and deck fitting, barging, boating services, boilers and water treatment. It's not the kind of book you see much anymore. It's spiral bound with lots of tabs. It's a book that's meant to be used. And paging through it, you really see the variety of businesses who ply the waters and supply the ships. The people who bring supplies and service lifeboats.
for doctors because parenting is a very personal thing. Of course, parents make their own decisions about how they want to raise their children. And our feeling at the American Academy of Pediatrics is that the role of doctors is to give parents the best evidence-informed guidance they possibly can, which to make their decisions. And in the 20 years, last now, the evidence studies have accumulated, so now the information we can provide them is much clearer, and we now know, we can say that all of what we know says that parents should never hit their children.
So what do recent studies tell us about the effectiveness of spanking and other physical discipline?
Well, first of all, it's not effective. There was a meta-analysis of quite a large number of studies, and they all showed that corporal punishment doesn't work. It doesn't cause children to change their own behavior, certainly not in the medium or long term.
And what do we know about the consequences of corporal punishment for children?
There's three main kinds of consequences for children. The first is that it increases their aggressive behavior and causes them more problems everywhere in school and with their parents. And the largest study of its kind wanted to
via the bridge to West Virginia.
Over several ways, corporal punishment often led to a vicious cycle where children became more oppositional as they experienced
The Hancock County, a certified business location in Chester, West Virginia. The Jennings-Randolph Bridge.
Causing the parents to use more corporal punishment, and on it went. So for some
This is the skinniest part of West Virginia. It takes about
the second
4.5 minutes to drive through it here in
certain
Pennsylvania.
about is there is evidence that the use of corporal punishment affects children's brain development.
Dr. Segi said that in one study of young adults, those who had consistently been exposed to harsh corporal punishment had lower prefrontal cortical brain matter and lower performance IQ
It's
than
not
those who
far from here.
hadn't. The study speaks to a broader body of research looking at the effects of experience on children's brain growth. We now know, for example, that toxic stress can cause
The whole
similar
entire
changes in
state
children's
is
brains.
uphill going this
Some
direction.
researchers believe that elevated cortisol levels are responsible for these changes in the brain. Here's Dr. Segi again.
The third set of outcomes are mental health problems, and in a fair number of studies, children who have had corporal punishment have mental health problems, including anxiety, depression, and other problems. So what we have, in summary, is that corporal punishment is ineffective and puts children at risk for developmental and behavioral outcomes. And with that, because we felt very strongly that parents should not be making their kids horribly humiliated.
The policy also addresses harsh verbal discipline. What does that mean?
Discipline is intended to shame or humiliate a child. So instead of saying, don't do that, say, you're an awful person in various ways, or you're always like that, or I wish you'd never been born, or all kinds of nasty things that parents can say to children in anger. And it turns out that those have very similar consequences in the few studies that have looked at it. And of course, as a doctor, this makes complete sense, because rare exceptions, there's no physical injury from being hit by your parents. What happens is the psychological injury of shame and humiliation. So if you remove the physical part, you have the shame and humiliation. It has the same negative effects on children. So we don't want parents to substitute shaming and humiliating their children verbally.
So does this mean that parents should never yell at their kids, or should they feel bad about it?
Oh my God, if parents never yelled at their kids, I'm sure there have been
Reminds me
parents
of a
in the history
county
of
park
mankind
in
who never yelled at
Pennsylvania.
their
It's about the
kids.
same size. It's kind of small.
There's a difference between saying, don't do that, stop, and all those things, and yelling at them in a way that's insensitive. So I think of it as parents are coaches. So a good coach doesn't tell one of his players, you know, you're a lousy SOB, you have no business being on the field, what you're doing here. They say, oh my God, why did you look at that ball with a perfect strike? Next time, you see a perfect strike come over the plate, swing at it. And that's the kind of coaching we think that parents ought to be doing. And in fact, most parents do too.
Okay, so what approaches to discipline work better than spanking or verbal abuse? And are there better approaches for different ages?
Yeah. So as pediatricians, we always think developmentally. So for children who are infants under a year old, there's actually not so much that they can hold on to as far as learning about abstract rules. So most of what you do with children then is simply distraction or redirection. So if you have a baby who's crawling towards danger, you can just pick them up, turn them 180 degrees around, and they'll continue crawling in a new direction. And that sort of thing works very well for the youngest children. As children develop cognitively, they begin to crave their parents' attention. And so for toddlers and preschoolers,